The script for Go was very popular within the industry before the film was even made. Screenwriter John August was able to get a lot of meetings and get onto new projects. He was a writer that people wanted to work with. One of those meetings was with producer Denise Di, whose credits included, among others, Batman Returns writer Dan Waters' feature debut Heathers, Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands, and Batman Returns itself. August admitted that he hadn't been a huge DC Comics reader growing up. He knew who Batman and Catwoman were as general characters, but that was about it. It wasn't until he saw Michelle Pfeiffer's portrayal in Tim Burton's movie that he thought, wow, this is a great character. He loved her approach, simply doing her thing. It was a remarkable character that Daniel Waters had created, Tim Burton had filmed, and Michelle Pfeiffer had embodied. When the idea of a standalone Catwoman film came up, August was immediately excited. He described to Di what he loved so much about the character, and came in with a full idea, a complete pitch for what would happen over the course of the movie. Di seemed excited, and brought him in to pitch it to Warner Brothers. August's pitch was a continuation of the Selina Kyle character, not a new origin story. In his version, after falling out the window, Selina loses her memory, an echo of how she originally became Catwoman. She wakes up in a hospital, having forgotten that she was ever Catwoman. It felt like a natural extension of where the story had been headed after the two Burton films, and a chance to step away from the more cartoony versions and really look at the human beings inside the costumes. Damaged but fascinating people. Catwoman, August believed, was fantastic when she was in the suit, but he was even more fascinated by Selina Kyle outside of it. He saw a tremendous amount to explore in a woman in her early 40s, overlooked by everyone around her, considered a disappointment for not being married, not having children, and not being further along in her career. There was a compelling contrast between how Selina seemed like a failure and Bruce Wayne seemed like a success, despite both being unmarried loners. August believed that there was rich material to mine there. Staying in Gotham would have been tricky, though. Audiences would constantly be waiting for Batman to show up, and that wouldn't have helped the story. Instead, August envisioned a new setting. Lake City, a more realistic backdrop than Burton's gothic Gotham. According to what he'd heard, Burton's rule for Gotham was that sunlight never fully reached the bottom of the streets. The city was built without building codes, oppressive by design. In contrast, Lake City would feel more like Chicago, full of glass, steel, and a Midwestern energy, rather than the hellscape metropolis like Gotham seen in Burton's films. In August's story, we open up on Halloween in Gotham City, which, as expected, is a near riot. Swooping up through the madness, we come to a skyscraper office. In this psychiatrist's office, Catwoman slinks back on the couch. "I'm thinking of getting out of Gotham," she says. "It used to be fun, but now there are just too many freaks. What do you think? Am I crazy?" "I'm not a psychiatrist," replies a man. Looking the other way, we see the man she's talking to is tied to his chair. She's actually robbing the office. He wants to tell her where the safe is, but she won't let him. She finds the safe and opens it. Outside, heading to her second robbery for the night, she thinks she sees Batman, but it's just some guy in a costume. There are many Batmen, many Catwomen, or rather copycat women. It annoys her. At the site of her second robbery, she encounters Nightfall, who ranks very low on the Gotham villain hierarchy. He's trying to rob the same place, which he's already rigged with explosives. The explosion blows Catwoman through 3 plate glass windows. We crane up over her comatose body to find Batman, the real one. Selina Kyle wakes up in the hospital in her hometown, Lake City, Chicago, a place with actual daylight. We meet her family, city council father, civic mother, hyper-successful middle sister, and trouble-finding youngest sister. By normal life standards, Selina is tremendously unsuccessful. No love life, and an unfulfilling secretary job. Bruce Wayne comes to visit her at the hospital. As they're talking, we realize that Selina has no idea that she was ever Catwoman. It's not amnesia. This explosion knocked it out of her. She recognizes Bruce Wayne as this really rich guy that she met once or twice but has no idea of their backstory. He says, "You seem really at peace. I guess in some ways I envy you," before returning back to Gotham. Selina moves in with her parents and gets a job with Dad's company. Normal life, but we're noticing small things. When an idea is stolen out from under her in a business meeting, she unconsciously claws her nails into the table. Crossing a street, a car stops short. Cut to Selina crouched on top of the car. No idea how she managed that jump. Meanwhile, Catwoman has hit Lake City, performing a series of robberies. We don't see Catwoman do it, just hear the news reports. Selina would commit crimes without any memory of doing so. She would wake up to find jewels hidden in her room without any idea how they got there. Meanwhile, Lake City would soon face its own crime wave, mirroring Gotham's issues with copycat heroes and villains. Her arrival would spark an arms race. Copycat crimes, copycat vigilantes. In Gotham, there had always been an established protector in Batman, but Lake City had no such tradition. Catwoman would be a disruptive force, and there would be a real debate in the city. Do we want this happening here? It would be exciting, even good for tourism. There are no other costume freaks in the city, heroes or villains, and the perception is that big city Gotham crime has come to their town, even though statistically Lake City is much safer. In secret meetings, the city council decides that they require a costume superhero of their own, that the city needs a protector. The marketing team designs a costume. They name their hero Victory and come up with a plan to pay for it. But, ironically, the hero that they bring in would be the villain from Gotham, Nightfall, the one responsible for Selina's original fall. Over the course of the film, Selina and this new hero would become rivals, giving August a great opportunity to examine what it really means to be a hero or a villain when the lines are arbitrarily drawn. Well, unlike many pitches he'd made, August felt he could truly see the movie. The best pitches, he said, felt like time traveling to the future to watch the finished film and then coming back to describe it. With Catwoman, he felt confident that he had watched the entire movie in his head. It was clear and vivid. He got through the whole pitch, but it became immediately clear from the follow-up questions that it was not what Warner Brothers was interested in. August felt that he had made his case well, but the studio wanted something very different. A younger, more sensual Catwoman. The only actress's name that August remembered being mentioned in that meeting was Sarah Michelle Gellar, who at the time was at the height of her Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame. Gellar was phenomenal, but it was a completely different vision than what he had in mind. August didn't think that his version would make much sense with anyone other than Michelle Pfeiffer. His pitch relied heavily on audiences already knowing and caring about Pfeiffer's Selina Kyle. While theoretically possible to swap in a new actress, it would have meant reintroducing everything from scratch, which would have been a lot for one movie. August later said on his own podcast, "Catwoman at Warner Brothers. I pitched it actually probably pretty well, but the executive was just not at all interested in my version of Catwoman. At all. And just basically decimated it in front of me." Ultimately, he didn't get to do Catwoman, but he did go on to write Charlie's Angels, which used some of the same themes. Women with power, self-empowerment, and non-traditional portrayals of female characters. August felt that they were at the right moment to be telling those stories. There was a real hunger for empowering non-victim narratives on screen. He firmly believed that Catwoman, as he envisioned it, could have fit beautifully into that space. Eventually, some 36 writers later, Warner Brothers did move forward with a Catwoman film starring Halle Berry. The final product was critically slammed and has largely become a cinematic punchline. The character was eventually redeemed in her next major cinematic appearances years later, portrayed by Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises, and more recently by Zoe Kravitz in Matt Reeves' The Batman.